Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. This proverb sums up the difference between China and India, between how they approach the world and how they offer assistance. In fact, in the case of China, they give you a fish and then capture you in a net of loans. We've told this story many times of how China promises development and delivers debt. Tonight, we want to tell you another story, one that is seldom told. The story of India's development model. How does India engage with the world? Did you know that India is steering 500 development projects around the world? Why do you never hear of a debt trap? Well, this is a question we asked ourselves. So we did some research, crunched some data for you, and tonight on Gravitas we have a very interesting story. For context, look at China's numbers. More than $1.5 trillion in loans to more than 150 countries, plus outstanding claims that exceed more than 5% of the global GDP. This is, in a nutshell, is China's debt trap. China is the world's largest creditor, an international loan shark, if you will. It swallows sovereign assets if you don't pay it back. China's Belt and Loan Initiative has become a symbol of modern-day colonialism. China has turned Pakistan into a colony with the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC. It has forced Sri Lanka to hand over the Hambantota port because Colombo could not pay back Beijing. What about India? What is India's global growth model? No flashy checkbooks, no overcommitment, and no threat to any partner's sovereignty. India has pioneered a new model of global growth. Despite being a developing country itself, India is aiding global development efforts. It's a success story that must be told. So here are India's numbers. As of today, India has extended more than $30 billion worth of development assistance. These are lines of credit. This money has gone to as many as 64 countries. That's more than 30% of the countries on this planet. 64 countries, and this is translating into real impact on the ground. So far, more than 300 projects have been completed in partner countries using the lines of credit from India. As we speak, more than 240 projects are being implemented. Where is all this money going? It is being spent in critical infrastructure sectors like transport, roads and ports, power generation and distribution, agriculture, manufacturing, healthcare, education, basically real development initiatives. And this is being done with a special focus on the neighborhood. Out of $30 billion, around $16 billion have gone to Asian countries, with a bulk of it to India's immediate neighborhood, countries like Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Myanmar. This is where Indian money is driving as many as 98 projects. 44 of them have already been completed. Despite concerns about growing Chinese influence and pressure on partner countries, India has managed to complete key projects. Sample this. India is funding more than 400 projects in Afghanistan alone. They are spread out across all 34 provinces of the country. In Bangladesh, India is financing 31 projects, 13 of them completed. In Nepal, Indian funds are driving 43 road projects, 17 of them completed so far. India is also behind 4 power transmission projects in Nepal, with 1 of them complete. In Sri Lanka, 19 projects have been financed, 11 of them completed. Separate rail, road and port projects are also in the pipeline. In Myanmar, India has completed 3 out of 4 projects. Separately, India has completed 2 out of 3 railway projects, 1 road project, 3 power transmission projects and 2 telecom projects. So put everything together, and India is the driving force behind more than 500 projects across the world. Have you ever heard any concerns of a debt trap? You haven't, because there aren't any. And that's the difference between India's development efforts and China's. India's assistance, you see, is transparent. It is guided by needs of its partners, not by the urge to dump excess funds and resources on them. Perhaps the best example of this comes from Africa. From 2002 to 2021, India has extended $11 billion in assistance to Africa. This has gone in a variety of forms, like lines of credit for development projects, grants, scholarships to African students, the construction of the Parliament building in Gambia, the Kosti Power project in the Sudan that provides a third of the country's power, the Nyabarongo Power project in Rwanda. It meets 1/4 of Rwanda's power needs. India set up the first cement plant of Djibouti. And in Tanzania, India is behind a water treatment plant that provides clean drinking water to more than 2 million people in and around Dar es Salaam. What is common in all of these initiatives? They bring real change without burdening the host country with debt and without triggering unrest in the region. India's support poses no threat to their sovereignty. Some of the least developed countries in the world are benefiting from Indian assistance. And the pandemic has only boosted India's credentials as a reliable partner. More than 100 countries are recipients of medicines, medical supplies and vaccines from India. All of this sets India apart from China. India's assistance is not part of some giant geopolitical scheme of ambitions of hegemony. It promotes development. It strengthens allies by making them self-sufficient, instead of weakening them with unrealistic borrowing terms. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.